This is the Game Jesters Gaming Update Podcast here with episode 19. So this episode we have it's going to be mostly one track. We have a lot of information on Google's new announcement with the Stadia that just was announced this Tuesday. We have quite a bit of stuff we're going to jump into here.
Oh yeah.
So
we have a lot.
yeah. Well,
so I'll let you start. I guess I'll let you take it away with what we know about Stadia, and then because a lot of what it is, a lot of what they revealed is a lot of what we thought was going to be the situation with it. We knew that it was going to be, well, we didn't know for sure, but we thought that it was going to be Google Chrome based, and that was one of the big selling points. But what we didn't know were things such as it being, twice as powerful as Xbox One and PS4 Pro combined, and things like that.
Well, I actually did know that. They were saying it's not so much more powerful, but they were saying before all cloud-based, they already know, was going to be really cheap console. You can get it really cheap, which we'll get into pricing a little later. But when Microsoft and everything they were saying about it, it's you don't have to pay a lot. You can get the cheapest, weakest, low stats thing, and it'll be able to run 60 frames per second flawlessly. So they knew it was going to be way more powerful. That was for sure.
So then, what we have our huge powerful thing. We know it can run on multiple devices. We can run it on, your basic Android device. You could run it on even the lowest Chromebook.
Yeah, they showed. Let's see. There was let me get this up and going here. They got what was it? The PC. They went to a tablet. They went to the computer right from without even having to switch anything. Just having your account logged in and jumping over. All of them can be going at the same time.
Yeah, that's insane. That's what I love about this the most is I love that the name in general. Actually, at first I thought the name was really goofy, but then I thought about it, and Stadia being a Greek derivation of stadium, basically, which is where the original Olympic Games, took place in Greek stadium. So to have, the history of games and the evolution of games, I thought that was a cool little tie in the way with the naming convention. At least I thought it was cool. Maybe other people were like, yeah, this isn't so cool, but
yeah. But so we'll jump in. I guess we'll go over quick basics. I have it playing here. We already know. Let's see. What did we tell you? It's going to be. Lost my train of thought here.
Lost your thought. It's all good.
We're talking before about the pricing. So they didn't really give a pricing for it yet, which is one of the biggest things that everyone was kind of watching and hoping for. But I have a prediction that's not going to be a one-time buy. It's going to be cloud-based. You're already going to know.
You think it's going to be subscription?
Like a subscription, like with Microsoft.
Similar to, yeah, with Game Pass and PS Now, like where it's $20 a month or $100 a year, whatever it may be, something like that, or.
Yeah. So, I'm pretty sure they're probably going to do a monthly fee. That's what they're going to be set up. But maybe they'll do the yearly pass. I'm not sure yet. But
see, my question with price, not to cut you off, though, I know in Japan, where they have amazing internet speed, Capcom has been doing a lot of this with the whole streaming and the cloud-based, and I'm sure other companies have as well, but I know Capcom's been the biggest one with, recently with Resident Evil 7, being playable on the Switch, and they did a model where they had you pay $20 and you rent the game for 6 months is essentially what it is. So I'm wondering if it's going to be the same kind of system, like not exactly the same, but whereas do you own the content, or is it going to be like, since it's a subscription based, is it going to be based off of, what's in your subscription? And
that's one thing they did say. June they're bringing. That was one of their topics that they mentioned. They're bringing up in June. I believe as of now they were hinting at it's more subscription, and so I'm not sure. You can't just play subscription and play every game, but maybe you might be able to, because look at Vive, HTC Vive port. They do that where you can play the subscription and play 5 free games a month. So maybe they might go that route.
I'm just wondering if you're going to keep your content if you don't But it depends how they do it, though. I guess.
That would be June's topic they're going to mention. I do know. Um, all I need is timestamp 3 minutes. They need I thought they were going to go the route where you have the whole digital library and you just buy the game and then you can just play it whenever you want. But it looks more like they're going to do stream based where you pay the monthly fee and then you can play any game you want while you pay for
I,
it.
th- I think also this is probably. I think they're trying to completely eliminate. I know they were talking about in the. I don't know if you got to watch the actual stream when
I
it took
did.
place, but they were talking about eliminating the download time. How you have especially a game like Grand Theft Auto, for example, which we'll be playing later, that when you're doing the day one install of that, if you haven't, it's gonna take a few hours. And I believe they were mentioning something about completely eliminating to have the need for the download
Yeah.
since it's all cloud based.
That's
So
one of the biggest things I liked that they showed right away. They went from, first off, you can go right from watching a video, seeing a video you like, and there's always going to be a play button below. You just click play on any video game you're watching a YouTube video of, and it'll start right. They said 5 seconds, the game will pop right up instantly and be playing. There'll be no more downloading, no more getting DLCs, patches, any of that coming home and be like, okay, let's go play. There's a big patch. It's all going to be preloaded on their cloud, and you can jump right in without any like downtime.
So that's gonna, like I said, if that all works out well, then that could be, obviously cloud-based gaming. I think, we've talked about it in the past, is definitely the future. Now, whether we're able to get to that point right now, or if this is just going to be something that paves the way for something better to come out, that is yet to be determined. But I do think that is definitely, the way we're going in the future, because especially people are changing how they're. I mean, I know you still like having your physical game library to show off and
Yep.
having the collection. I know there's still a lot of people who do like the collection and having that physical, and there will always be those people. But a lot of people are also, switching over to wanting to have that kind of digital library where it could either, especially in the case of Stadia, where depending on your internet connection, it could be available on the go, or it could be you don't have to, if you want to, if you have 100 games and you want to switch between them, you don't have to lug around a suitcase that has 100 physical,
Yeah.
physical games
Yeah.
in them.
Digital does have its advantages, that's for sure.
But what else? I mean, what else do we know about? I mean, what else? What else have they revealed about the Stadia compared to what we don't know? With what we, I remember I was reading something saying that the two issues that I'm potentially seeing is one, not really an issue. I think this is depending the internet speeds required. I think they were all dependent on. Obviously, you're not going to get the 4K experience and potentially the 8K experience in the future if you're running on only a 5 megabyte, you know,
Yeah.
connection.
Well, that's what they said. The minimum requirement, if you run 4K, is 30 megabytes per second. There's no exception to that one. You need the 30 megabytes per second. They did say if you're people who don't have the 4K yet, say you're still running the 720, then you can get away with the smaller internet speed and they'll still run smooth in that. But if you're going to go 4K, you need at least 30.
So you mean you can still have the option of going as low as 720p and maybe getting around, say, if you have like a 15 megabyte connection that might be able to run the 720p with no issues, but you're definitely not going to get the 4K experience at that 15 megabytes.
Yeah.
So
Well, yeah.
if they can,
That's
but
where the latency will come into play there.
the other thing too, they were saying, well, they didn't necessarily say, but they it was revealed after. It's estimated that it's going to take around 20 gigs per hour of data usage if you're
Yeah.
doing the full, full experience. So that I'm wondering if we're going to get into any issues with a lot of internet companies have they data cap. Not all of them. Down here, I don't have to worry about that. My internet company, they don't care. I can,
They say that, but a lot of times they say they don't care, and then once you hit a certain limit, they cap you, and
well,
you get really slow internet from
they
then
will
on.
slow it down, but it's like an insane amount here. Like down here, it's really an insane. It's close to a terabyte. So I mean, like it's Whereas I remember when I was up north, my 500 gigabytes was my limit. If I went over 500 gigabytes, they wouldn't even throttle it. They would
So
just like They would
That
just
still
shut it.
will be a problem because I have a
Mhm.
terabyte limit now, and just by streaming and everything, I go through that a lot.
Mhm.
I hit that limit. There's a few times when I had to stop and cut down.
Wait,
Like,
you say you
okay,
have a terabyte now?
yeah, yeah, I pay
Oh,
for the terabyte bandwidth limit. Mine's actually 1.2 terabyte, and I hit that
damn.
limit a few times.
But Google's under the impression too that a lot of things are changing as far as internets go. Things like data caps are supposed to be changing, and especially with the introduction of like
Yeah,
what did they say, 5G,
yeah,
and
with
all.
5G, and they're pushing fiber optics big time. They're getting everything run fiber, which will be of more speed, more bandwidth at lower latency and everything. Once they get fiber really big and going, and with the 5G going, once that finally kicks off, see, this is
So,
where Google, if they make their own internet, like they push out their own internet for this, they can really make a killing in the market.
well, like kind of like how they have their own phone thing now. They have the Google. I don't know the name of the phone, but the Google,
The Pixel?
the Pixel. They have the Pixel, and then they even have a Wi-Fi plan to go with that. If you know,
Yeah.
I think they
See, I
have some
could
sort of
see,
like. So I mean, yeah, I could definitely see them do it. If they can push fiber, they definitely have the financial resources to do it.
yeah. And if
So,
they can get their own like high speed, high bandwidth mobile hotspot for their thing, that could work out really well too in their favor.
oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I could definitely see that going. Maybe not during launch year, but if the thing takes off, and we're looking at maybe say this is a success, and then the year is 2022, and this thing is really has taken off, in 3 years down, they say it's supposed to launch later this year,
Yeah,
allegedly.
they did
I
say
mean, that could.
around June they're going to put the release date at the E3. We'll get into that a little later, but they'll have a release date set for this is another category topic location. They're only going to this year, US and Canada.
Mhm.
Later on, they're going into the UK and Europe, but they're
Yeah.
not going like Japan, Asia. They dominate the gaming market. They're not even touching Asia.
Yeah, that really surprised me. Like when I saw they had 5 places on the list, like you said, it was U.S., UK, U.S., UK, Canada, Europe, and
UK and Europe, they're not even getting the. It's coming US and Canada first. UK and
mhm.
Europe, they're going to be later down the road, and those are the only four that they talked about going
Oh, there
to.
was 4. I said 5. I don't know why I said 5,
Yeah.
but maybe I was including Japan in my. But Japan not getting it, which is the weird part, because we have talked in the past how Japan has they're way ahead of us as far as
Yeah.
internet, as far as the whole streaming and everything. They're on that. So I'm surprised that's not. But I guess the theory behind it is maybe they want to test it. They want to not necessarily test it, but they want to you know work it in a market that is not Japan, that doesn't have
Well, the reason,
outclass us. I
the kind
guess
of
I don't
thing
know.
they were going for is that they don't know how well it's going to do just yet. They don't want to go worldwide. They're trying to keep it
Well, that's true too.
so what they're releasing here is kind of like a test and trial run before going big into it, and then they're going to release it all other places. If it does really well, then they're going to push it out for other going worldwide. Well, they probably won't go worldwide because there's a lot of countries that really can't handle that internet speed. So they're probably going to pick
Also,
and choose.
there's also a lot of countries that ban gaming. Like
Yeah.
I think China is one of them that they just recently I don't know, they just recently got something, and it was the first time, and the Chinese people were like ecstatic because there's such strict internet and gaming regulations and laws there. So there's other countries that I can't think of, but that one comes to mind. But and what I'm also wondering with this whole thing, Google has had many failures and many successes. So does this add to the list of either one?
Yeah,
I don't
I
know.
guess June. That's where I was going to mention in. Let me get through for the. We have.
Reading specs. The reading
Yeah,
specs
the
come
good
back.
old the reading specs. Got to use that joke every time.
They'll
Um,
never get old. Just like me, never get old.
Yeah, but before we jump on to more news about it, we got the games. They did release on
Yes.
launch. There will be Doom Eternal,
Doom Eternal. Yep.
Tomb
We could
Raider.
assume Assassin's Creed, since it was the test game. So we could assume that if they haven't announced it, we could assume because Ubisoft has a partnership with them, obviously,
That's true. Yeah.
and they had the guy from Ubisoft on the stage and everything. So we know, even if it's not Assassin's Creed, even we know Ubisoft is going to be a huge supporter.
Yep.
You know,
So all the Assassin's Creeds will be on here.
and Just Dance in 4K.
Hey, there if it goes on. What else? What else was there? I remember I got those three. Thought there was another one.
There is another one. It's just not coming to me. Skyrim?
Well,
No, I'm kidding. Well,
either way, with that all said, what was that we have wrapping up on the Stadia? Do you have anything else you want to talk about it on it?
oh, anything else on it? Basically, not necessarily on it, because I think we discussed we hit all the main points. We talked about the potential. We don't know a price, but we talked about potential price. We talked about the release date. The potential release date. We talked about the games as. We didn't talk about the Google Assistant part, but I mean, there's not much to really say about that yet. You know how you can press the Google Assistant button on the controller,
Right.
and then it's supposed to be able to guide you through. I don't know if it's an actual I don't know. I've never used Google Assistant, so I don't really know much about it. But there was just some of the other features about that, and there was another point they made out where if we have a battle royale game, you could have 1,000 players instead of the usual 100. I thought that was I don't know if I'd want to play a battle royale game with 1,000 people and then be the third person to die and then suck that bad out of 1,000 people.
They would have to have huge, massive maps at that point, but maybe with the power.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to be I hate just dying early in a regular battle royale, so that would put some salt in my wounds. But no, I have nothing else to add about that. I'm just trying to think. I'm making sure we didn't miss anything about it, or
there isn't anything. One more topic I was saving for the end, which is why I was asking, making sure we didn't miss anything. If you had anything else you want to say, because my next one is gonna move. What's the words? Jump a transition right into the next topic here.
Yeah, I'm just making sure. I don't think there was anything I missed. I was just re-looking over notes and looking over what I was reading, and no, I'm not that I think of offhand. So we can move right along.
So, we already know coming up really soon, right around the corner in June, E3 is the video game news is really going to pick up drastically for our podcast. Yes. We're going to have a lot of news with all of that coming out. And this year, E3 is going to be way different with what's going on, who's going to be there. We already know Sony and EA, they both pulled out. They're gone. They're not going to have anything. Nintendo barely does E3, so they might have a showing, but they'll be small since they have their own Nintendo Direct.
Yeah, they'll still be doing that.
So this might be a good time for Google. They're jumping into E3, where they're going to announce more about their Stadia. Well, so this would be...
They were being very coy about that. Someone had asked them in an interview after Stadia if they're going to be showing more information at E3, and they kind of dodged the question a bit. They didn't say E3, but they said, more information will be revealed around June. So I don't know if that meant
maybe they're trying to keep it a secret, but they didn't do too well because they have a stand set up at E3 that they were released. They're showing when all the time frames are. They show that they do have a time. So if they're trying to keep it a secret, that didn't do them any good keeping that a secret.
Well, yeah, I guess whether they have a stage show or whether they have it's a conference, I guess we'll see. And
but the next one, the big one, I saw the stage conference when they were confirming them. Bethesda is set to appear at E3 June 9th at 5:30 p.m. PST in LA. They announced we already know they're going down a little trickly slope recently, but they announced a few games they plan to show off. Doom Eternal, which I just showed off a couple minutes ago, we talked about. That's going to the Google as well. They're showing off Rage 2, Elder Scrolls Blades, and everyone is highly hoping for the highly anticipated Elder Scrolls 6.
I was hoping you were going to say that because I was like, what is I know they had that huge one, and Yeah. What else did they? That's all they'd have, because they
No,
talked
there
about it.
is
They briefly talked about it last year. They briefly talked about it.
yeah, and they said that
Uh,
they're planning a release date for November of 2019 for it. So if they're doing that, they have to show it off this year to show what they have for it. And of course, with that all said, too, you know that they're going to have to talk about, go on stage, see how the audience treats them, and talk about Fallout 76. All the new things coming up with 76, the new DLCs they have. We talked about this in the previous podcast. They have three
yes,
coming
and
up.
you're missing the most important one too. The most important game that they will announce, but they just need to announce which platform it's going to be on. It's
What's
going
that?
to be. It's going to be another. It's going to be a remastered
Oh,
version of
right,
Skyrim.
right.
You know, we don't know which platform it's going to be. Maybe Super Nintendo. You know, it will.
Maybe.
Maybe it will launch with the N64 Classic as an exclusive.
That would be probably the best game for it.
Could you imagine Skyrim in like an N64? Oh god, like in a Mario 64 style. There's probably a mod for it already.
Probably.
I gotta Google this. But yeah, we got Bethesda. You know, of course, is gonna be there. We know Ubisoft is gonna be there because they never miss a conference. They have to have their Just Dance live show that they have the Dancing Panda and the all the goofy things they go there. But Ubisoft actually does still have a few games in the lines that
Since you
haven't even
mentioned
been.
them, they do have with their Sniper Elite projects that are coming out. They have a new main entry game coming into the series, which I don't know if you played, but I was always a big Sniper Elite fan.
I never got into it, never played it. But of course, as like I said in the past, I've been expanding my horizons. So who
Yeah,
knows at
well,
this point?
this might be a time to jump in because they got their new main entry. They have a remastered of Sniper Elite V2. It's a sequel remake of the first Sniper Elite for the PS4, Xbox One, PC, and Switch. It's coming to the Switch, which is surprising. Usually, Switch is playing catch up. New games don't really make it to the Switch, so this one will be on.
I mean, it's well, this is Ubisoft too, so to keep that in mind, Ubisoft does have a very strong relationship with Nintendo at this point. I believe, they what was the game I'm thinking of that they had? Not StarCraft. Oh my God, what Starlink? Starlink. Where they got Fox to be an exclusive character, and they had the Mario vs. Rabbids. So I mean, Ubisoft has a strong partnership with Nintendo. So I see there as the Switch is getting more prevalent, they'll probably try to, and as the eventual maybe Switch Pro comes out in the future, you know. But yeah,
Possibly. They also
Ubisoft also. I'm sorry, come on. I didn't know what.
I just wanted to, while I was talking about the Switch and them, they also have Sniper Elite 3 is also coming to the Switch, along with a new VR game coming out.
Hmm.
And the Switch port and remasters are set to be due 2019, while the next mainstream Sniper Elite is set for 2020, and the VR has no release date yet.
How you know this, and I didn't know this. This was news to me, so I'm
I
like,
follow, I follow Sniper Elite.
and I was like, I'm surprised I didn't see that somewhere. And I'm like, constantly stalking things. But what was the other one I was going to? Oh, so Ubisoft, of course, they're going to have a big presence at E3 because they have heavily rumored, of course, we have Watch Dogs 3. It's been about 3 years since we had the last Watch Dogs. And, a lot of the news and rumor sites have been talking about this over the last couple weeks. Of course, they're saying the big rumor, of course, is saying it's going to take place in London, and that they're going to put even more of an emphasis on hacking and less on combat, because in Watch Dogs 2 they really upped the combat. Like as in the first Watch Dogs, you couldn't even fight someone randomly hand to hand, but in the second one you could just completely go in the street and just like GTA punch them out style for no reason. And so now evidently they're trying to cut back on that because a lot of people were complaining about that there wasn't enough hacking, which there was even more hacking than the first game, but they completely changed a lot of the control scheme. But yeah, Watch Dogs 3 is supposed to be a big one. And what is it? Is it Beyond Good and Evil 2? They still haven't released. There's that one in there that was supposed to be their big. A couple of years ago at E3, they had the trailer for that, and then everyone got on stage and cried for some reason because, you know. So I imagine they might have more about that, and yeah. So Ubisoft is going to have a big year, especially if they release, if they get those two out of the way. And anyone else at E3 that we're missing? And we have Microsoft, who I don't know if they're going to say anything about Scarlet.
This will be the year, I'm thinking, or they might do what PlayStation's doing and try to keep it a secret until next year, because we know the release dates will be late September or November
Hmm.
2020 for the PlayStation 5 and for Scarlet, because they'll follow suit. So that might
So I'm
hold
just
off till
well,
next year.
well, they might reveal their discless console though. They have that discless, digital only console, so they may show that off because that was supposed to release this year. So I mean, I got confused with the code names because there's so many of them with Microsoft. They were working on like four at the same time, and I forgot which one was which. So
Yeah.
I know there was like the Scarlet, the Johansson, and the no, that's an actress. Uh,
But speaking of with I remembered with Stadia too, going back with them and talking about E3 and just thinking about the gaming market. Xbox is really going to have to step up now with everything that Stadia is doing. They're putting them in direct competition now. Now, how they were competing with Sony, they now have someone immediately coming right behind them and hitting them hard.
yeah, absolutely. And the thing too is with Microsoft, this is what I wanted to talk about actually, because before we ran, before I forgot about it, we had one of the biggest announcements the other day from this latest Nintendo. There was a Nintendo's Indie Direct. They call them Nindy Directs. So they one of the biggest announcements was that Cuphead, which was for the longest time Microsoft exclusive, is coming to Nintendo Switch with support for Xbox Live. So I guess whatever you play on the Switch, you could earn, your achievements in Cuphead, and whatever else you could do with Xbox Live through in the game. I don't, I'm not well versed on Xbox, but so that makes me wonder, now is this like Google's Fallout plan? Not Google, sorry, at Microsoft's Fallout plan. Like if they end up at a point where they stop producing consoles. I mean, there's always this what if kind of because they had the same thing. People said the same thing about Nintendo a couple of years ago. If the NX at the time was going to be a failure, does Nintendo get out of the console business? And then the NX turned into the Switch, and obviously did not fail. And but is if the writing's on the wall for Microsoft, and then they end up getting out of, is this what they do going forward? Do they become like, go into some sort of exclusive partnership, or what do they do? Like, what is their plan going forward? Because they're still does Microsoft then produce games for Stadia? Because Microsoft's about the power too. So,
Hmm.
or does Microsoft still do their own thing?
So
I don't.
I know Microsoft, they're always going to have PC to fall back on. PC is not going anywhere. Nothing's
Oh
going
yeah,
to
no.
change with that. They're console wise, I'm pretty sure they make the money that they might even keep and try to keep them in the run.
I think they, as long as we talked about before too. We talked about how Microsoft has a lot of loyalists. The people who when they getting the consoles, the console wars, whatever you want to call it, people there still are going to be your 20 million people who are still going to prefer, the Xbox platform, and they're the ones they're going to go out and get, even if there's no games on it, they're still going to go out and get it.
Yeah.
Because they have the promise of a new Halo, maybe, and they
Well,
want to play that Halo.
there is the new Halo.
Speaking of new Halo, yes, there is a new Halo. But yeah, so that's I don't know. I'm very interested to see what Microsoft does going forward because they are pushing Xbox Live on a lot of things. Also, mobile. They're trying to integrate Xbox Live, I think, with mobile platforms as well. So
Yeah. Speaking of though with the competition, Steam and Epic, we talked about it before. They were
yeah,
having feuds. They're still push. Steam's is really hitting Epic hard now, and so how Stadia is affecting Microsoft and putting them in direct competition, they're also coming over for Steam and Epic, hitting both of them. And while they're both distracted with each other, the Stadia might come over and just dominate both of them, because this is doing exactly like it's a game changer if it works out really well. How how fast you can jump in and play all the games and everything. They might dominate over Steam and Epic along with Microsoft.
Like I said, I have a level of skepticism with a Stadia, and a lot of it is because of Google's past with some of the stuff they've had. Google Glass, for example, could have been a phenomenal thing, but I don't know why that just never took off. I don't know if I don't even know if it was ever publicly available. I never saw anything about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that was like they were showing that off around the same time that Microsoft had the HoloLens coming out and things like that, but that never. And then of course you look at their failed social networks and Google Plus. Anybody?
It's still around though. It's actually kind of decent for gaming. They have a few gaming forums on them.
Well, the problem is Google Plus is shutting down next month.
Is it? I missed that.
Yeah, they April of 2019, because there was back in October there was like a big hack, and like 50 million accounts or something like that got compromised, and so then Google's answer to that was, oh well, we messed up, so we're shutting this down next year. And not exactly in those words, they didn't say it just like that.
It's unfortunate because I get a lot of the views from the Google gaming on Google Plus. I have a lot of people there.
Let me find the exact shutdown date, but yeah, because Google's been emailing everybody. But that was one of the interesting things about Google Plus was April 2nd, 229. Wow. April 2nd, 2019.
So, yeah, 2 weeks away. Huh.
Yeah, so you have time to save your stuff, tell your friends where else you're going to be, things like that. So they're giving you a little bit of time yet. But that Google Plus had a lot of potential in the terms of like when I went, obviously, I don't know if you remember, but when Google Plus first started and it was like invite only, I was inviting the heck out of people.
Yeah.
So I was all like, oh, if you want a Google Plus invite, come my way. And it was used differently than Facebook, which is why I liked it. Because Facebook was for people you knew and people, but then Google Plus came, and that was a way for you to network with people that you didn't know, but you shared a lot of common interest. And you could target your post to those people. You could create your own little circles, target those posts to those people in those circles, and then you didn't have to flood your Facebook, in this kind of your timeline, Google Plus timeline with crap that people didn't want to see, because you could target it to. I think it was too smart for people to figure out, though. Like the common people, not that we're superior than everyone else, but I mean like a casual person who's used to the Facebook kind of thing, they're not gonna want to take the time to learn how to use Google Plus and use it effectively. But like you said, for gaming and things like that, and targeting specific people, it was a great platform. Just poorly utilized.
Yeah.
People gave up on it.
That's for sure.
Well, it was like you were reading something intensely with those reading specs.
Oh, I was actually looking for something, but I couldn't get them on with the headset. So I just held them to my face. That worked as well.
That's the new way to do it. Just hold them to. Just drive like that.
I actually kind of forgot we're on cam, and that's where I was just like, let me. And then I got called out for it, so I forgot that you could actually see me doing that.
Yeah.
I paused my thing though, so my people didn't see on Twitch.
I'll have to be more aware of that, because I also caught you flossing.
Flossing? That had to have been off camera. I don't even know. So, moving on.
Make a ninja proud.
One day he'll be on here to floss with us.
Dude, if he came on the podcast just to floss, that's the only time I would floss. I'd be like, okay, if it's gonna get us views.
Yeah, I would as well. But anything else? I got 2 more moving into movie topics. But before I transition, any last minute video game stuff?
No, I got nothing. I had I didn't. It was a
Okay.
slow. It was a slow week for video game stuff. I mean, I didn't even get to even look at. I was gonna talk about this, but I'm gonna wait till next week when we talk about what's coming out in April, and I haven't even looked yet. So,
Yeah. So our next let me actually switch on over here to my next thing I got going here. I'm sure a lot of people have seen already that Toy Story 4 is coming
yeah,
to movie theaters this year. And so
I
that,
have mixed thoughts on that one. Let me
yeah,
tell you.
see, I thought I followed it. I watched it since I was a little kid, and I thought 3 was a good ending for it. And a lot of
3 was
people
the
agree.
perfect ending. 3 was the perfect because Andy was like grew up and he was going to college and to get his more knowledge and
Yeah. But,
then he gave his toys to Bethany or Tatiana or
right. So they got,
whatever her name is.
and so, but a lot of people are really hyped. A lot of people are huge into Toy Story, so they're really hyped for it. So it's actually, when they launched the trailer, it did really well for itself.
I saw that. Yeah.
And they're showing, if you didn't see, I have the trailer playing here. They're showing Woody going off into a park alone, and or he goes off and he starts enjoying himself when he meets up with one of the older people who disappeared for a while. They find themselves, it's Bo. Bo's reappears, and they're in this
She looks
playground.
different too, by the way. She looks completely different because like the
Yeah,
old Bo
she's
was
got
like
that.
porcelain, and this one is like you know.
They got that. What do they call that when you seen a lot of crap, and you're
You've seen. She's seen some things.
she's seen some. She's hardened. She's hardened now. It's hardened Bo. And one thing I didn't like. Let me back up a little bit here in this trailer.
Can we talk about the spork? Can we please talk about the spork? How that's a toy.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
you
I
always
get
make little.
from the mind of a child, it makes sense, but oh my god,
This
I
scene,
saw that. And,
this scene makes it up though. I liked that they brought Slappy in. They got the little ventriloquist doll. If anyone from the 90s grew up with Goosebumps, you know exactly who he is. But kids nowadays, they don't know, and they keep calling him, oh, I'll quote this, air quotes even, a very creepy ventriloquist dolls.
that's what I thought it was.
Kids these days.
It wasn't.
That's highly disrespect to Slappy. Slappy ought to come there and slap the slap out of you.
I kind of forgot Slappy's name, so I knew it looked familiar, but I couldn't pinpoint where I was. So I'm
Oh,
embarrassed. I'm embarrassed.
oh boy. You're part of
Back
those kids who
I
don't
know.
even know.
I know what it's gonna. I'm gonna rewatch and see it, and then the book that it went to is gonna hit me in the head. I'll be able to get the exact number to it. I'll be like, that was number. That was that book, or that was that episode.
That
Yeah,
was I loved that book, loved that episode when it came on. Now I was back. Oof, I was like 8 when I was reading Goosebumps with this
dude,
one.
I had the Goosebumps books. I had the Goosebumps playing cards. I had them all.
Yeah.
They were ridiculous, and I could read the books in like an afternoon, and it was just that because they were only like 200 pages. So
Yep. That's what, when you go to school and they put you down, you have half hour to read through the Goosebump books.
oh yeah, that's good stuff. But like I said, like I was a little weirded out work thing, and it's like I laughed when Woody was like, right now that's I keep forgetting the girl's name. Why can't I remember her name? It's not Emily. The hell's the girl's name? Anyway, he's like, well, that's her most cherished toy right now, and she's gonna make memories with. It's like you're gonna make memories with a spork, really, Woody?
Hey, kids do weird things.
Did you ever think like? I mean, looking back on your childhood, I mean, I know we in like arts and crafts and things we made little things like that, but I don't necessarily remember having. I never remember adding a spork to my wrestling ring and playing with my wrestlers and having like having Kane tombstone a spork. But
Well, I mean, I used to pick up sticks and pretend I'm a wizard, so
well, I mean, I guess that I would say that's different, but
kind of the same. Still a random toy you pick up and you play with.
it's not a spork.
But I have one last bit of movie news before we'll shut it down and jump on to Grand Theft Auto. If you're watching us live on this podcast, we're transitioning right into Grand Theft Auto 5 online after this. But before we do, the last bit of news, Suicide Squad. We saw how bad that did, how it tanked and got bad reviews. It was a bad movie. I went if you're a fan of it, I apologize. I cringed the whole time. Not good. They tried way too hard with Harley Quinn, and but this time they're going around James Gunn, which, if you watched last week, James Gunn's now DC and Marvel. They brought him back, and after he finishes his Suicide Squad, he's going back to Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. So he's working both sides of the rivalry now. But Will Smith will be replaced with Idris Elba. I hope I didn't pronounce that wrong. So that's a little bummer because I like Will Smith, but he's out.
Why are they? What was the reasoning?
No real reason. I guess after how bad it did, Will Smith didn't want to come back. And they also got confirmation that Margaret Robbie is probably not returning. And they pretty much said that they're pretty much replacing the entire cast because this movie's not going to be a following. It's not going to be Suicide Squad 2. It's erasing the whole first movie. It's a complete reboot. Everything the people never met before. This is the first time they're meeting. Everything is completely rebooted. Whole new storyline.
I mean, how did Suicide Squad perform in the box office? I mean, I know it was critically bombed, but did it like? Oh God, it's only got a 40% score on Metacritic.
Yeah,
and it's 27% on Rotten Tomatoes. Oh Jesus. Oh my Lord.
I told you it did bad, and I know it. I don't know the box office, but I don't think it brought in a lot. But
it says 746.8 million. So I mean, it still performed well, but I guess like, that says U.S.? That seems weird. Like, I guess people. Oh no, that is a different. That has to be worldwide because it only says 325. Yeah, that's worldwide. Google, you give me misinformation.
Huh.
But yeah, worldwide 700. U.S. we're looking at 325,000. The foreign, it actually did not do very well in the. As well in the foreign market as I thought it would. So, but anyway, continue because I'm a numbers and stats guy, so I had to look that up.
Last thing, I just got the date. It's going to be releasing everywhere on August 6th of this year.
Oh God, I'm hoping it's.
Be out soon.
I'm kind of hoping it's even worse. I want to see that 27 go to a 17.
Well, I don't know. James Gunn, he's got some good. He's made some good stuff. I actually like his work, so I'm thinking he might do just with it.
I guess, it's something we're gonna have to. I don't know. I didn't realize the first one tanked as bad as it did. So as far as critically and with the fans, I knew a lot of people on Facebook were saying it was trash, but I just thought those were the trolls. I didn't know that was a real thing.
Legit. It was pretty cringeworthy. I'll say it was forced. It was really.
Now I want to watch it and laugh, have a laugh.
Yeah.
Although my luck, I'll probably like it. I'll be like, this is really good.
Oh, maybe you do like bad stuff.
I do. I have a thing for really bad, low budget crap. So.
But that's gonna wrap up our podcast. If you're watching us live, you can stay tuned. We'll be jumping right into Grand Theft Auto 5 online. If you're not. After our podcast, if you're listening, you can tune in on twitch.tv/videogamejester or Facebook Gamer Gestures. Wait, is it S? Is there an S at the end? You're more in charge of the Facebook one.
Yeah, there's an S at the end for now.
Okay. Facebook Gamer Gestures, where I'll be streaming on Twitch and Shamrock will be streaming on Facebook.
Yes. Well, I won't be streaming the Grand Theft Auto on here, but...
well,
mostly that's because of I know that they have a lot of music in it, and I'm kind of trying to avoid.
Radio.
But I will be probably jumping on the Twitch and streaming it as well. So it is twitch.tv/
TG Lord Shamrock.
Yes, thank you. I can't even remember my own Twitch name. It's pretty sad. But yes, so either one, or join us on both. Laugh along, play along. We'll have fun. But no, the reason I avoid Facebook is because I know Facebook is very copyright driven. Yeah. I know there's a lot of music in Grand Theft Auto, so it's hard to always turn it off. And
yep, when you jump into a car, I forgot about the radio. So that's one thing why YouTube and Facebook aren't the greatest streaming platforms.
And I found out you can stream the music with it since it's already in the game. The problem is a lot of the services will remove it from like your video on demand. So if people want to watch it back later, it won't save the video or it will completely eliminate all audio that involved that music. So if you were talking and something really funny happened or a really cool moment happened when there was, music playing in the background for whatever reason, then it gets completely erased. So
Yeah.
all right, well, yep. Then we are signing off, and we are going to be switching over to there. So
Until then, see you guys next week.
Yes.
And outro song.
It will be the outro song one day.